Hi, gorgeous people. I hope you're very well today. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about how to help you sleep. If you don't know me already, my name is Victoria Ewan, and I run a wellness website, Victoria's Place Online. And there's quite a few different things that you can get from that website, lots of different techniques to help you relax. And that really is my vision for people. I'd like to create a movement in our world that everybody can have access to tools to help them relax, because we grow up in such a stressful time. We have access to so many different things, but it can be very overwhelming these days. So I'm a yoga, mindfulness and meditation teacher. I have written a book called Will You Come to Bed With Me? Creating Mindful Moments with Your Family. And I also create card decks with different yoga poses on them so that people can use those at any time, and they can have them sitting on their desk, and they can have a stretch at their chair, or when they're on an aeroplane, they can get the aeroplane yoga card deck and they can have a stretch to help prevent deep vein thrombosis. And I also develop lots of other card decks. So you can find all the information on victoriasplaceonline.com.au. And you'll see that there's quite a variety of things there. Now, today's workshop is talking about how to sleep better. And some people wonder why I am very passionate about this. And it's one of the reasons is because I have sleep apnea. And before I got this diagnosed, I was very, very sleepy, and I couldn't figure out why I was more sleepy than anybody else. And so what I had to do was create techniques for myself to get a very, very good night's sleep and to get to sleep very quickly, because I needed a lot of sleep. And I finally found out why I needed so much sleep. It was because I stopped breathing every 3 minutes when I was asleep. So I didn't really ever get a quality night's sleep. Now I do, because I have had this diagnosed. But as I said, before I had this diagnosed, I had to really teach myself a lot of techniques to quieten my mind very quickly, and to make myself go back to sleep if I woke up during the night. So if you are having troubles at night and you're sleepy and you're not sleeping, I really understand how it feels, because that was my day every single day. And since I've been doing research on this, and since I've become a mindfulness teacher, I recognized that I was doing mindfulness practices even before I knew what they were, to get myself back to sleep. So why do we need so much sleep? There's so many reasons why we need I think quality sleep instead of quantity sometimes, because if we get a quality night's sleep, we can manage very, very well. If we're sleeping and napping during the day and it's not a quality sleep, if we're waking up all the time, or if you have sleep apnea like I do, you're not getting the quality of sleep that you need. And there's so many reasons why we need this quality of sleep. The quality of sleep really affects your memory. And this is one of the things that I have found has improved so much since I have trained myself to sleep properly with quality sleep, is that when we're in a deep sleep, the short-term memories from our day turn into our long-term memories, and then they get stored in our mind. So I couldn't ever figure out why my memory was so bad. And it was because I didn't ever get that quality sleep that allowed those short-term memories from the day to be stored into my long-term memory bank. So if your memory is pretty bad, I really believe that this is one of the things that will improve once we've helped you with your sleep. So what I'll be talking about today is some lifestyle techniques that you can do to improve your sleep, because it's not all about nighttime. And I think some people don't really understand that to get a good night's sleep actually starts the day before. It starts during the day. There's lots of things that we can put into place to make sure that we get a really good night's sleep later on. And then I'm going to be talking about tips that you can do, and I'll give you quite a few tips that you can do to get yourself back to sleep, because I know we all have stress in our lives, and in my mindfulness trainings, I teach how to manage that stress, because I say we can't particularly get rid of the stress, but we can understand and create how we react to that stress. So we can't take away the stress, but we can figure out a way of how we can react to that stress. So what we're going to be talking about today is a very, very short part of the 3-week course that I have put together for you. And the 3-week course is an online course, and it's a lifestyle tip and a nighttime tip for 3 weeks. So it's 1 email a week, and I send that to you so you can practice the tips that I give you over the week, and then you might be able to email me and say, oh, this worked, or how do I tweak this, or what do I do? There's lots of different ways to contact me, so you can contact me at any time through Facebook or through my email. And I'm really passionate about helping you get a better sleep, because you never know, I might actually come across you at some stage. You might be in the car next to me, or you might be in the car behind me, and you might be really sleepy. And I don't want you to crash into me. I don't want to crash into you. I don't want you to end your life or harm me or my children if you have had a crappy night's sleep the night before. I might come across you, and you are a person serving me, or you're my doctor, and I really want you to have a good night's sleep the night before, so that we can communicate in a really beautiful way and a really alert way. Okay, so let's have a little conversation. And before I start getting stuck into it, I'm just going to click on my screen. Your screen's going to look a little bit different from my screen. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn on the question and answer, and I've just done that now. So what you can do is you can type in some questions, and they'll come up on the sidebar of mine. And so every now and then you might see me looking to the side, and if I can stop, I'll answer your question. But if I can't stop midstream, I'll try to answer your question at the end. And I'm not saying that I know absolutely everything. I'm actually pretty certain that the more I know, the more I realise I don't know. So if I can't answer your question, I will definitely do my best to find out as much as I can for you, and get back to you. Okay, so even if you just wanted to pop on in and type, hi, this is me, I'm from wherever you are today, it would be lovely to connect with you. Okay, so what I'd like to start with our sleeping is some lifestyle tips. So I've got myself some notes down here, so please don't think that I'm rude. I just don't want to miss out on anything for you. So when we're starting to think about our sleep patterns, like I said, it's not so much just at night time. We really need to think about our whole entire day and what we've done during the day in order for us to sleep well at night time. So even starting with breakfast, even starting how we start our day and our food. The food that we eat is so important. So what they do say is try to eat a big substantial breakfast in the morning, and then a little bit smaller at lunchtime, and then probably your smallest meal at dinner time, which is quite difficult for a lot of us because that's not really the way that we eat most of the time. But if we have a really big dinner, it takes so much of our body to process that dinner at night time that it actually takes away from the quality of sleep that we're going to get. Does that make sense? And also the time of night that we eat. So we're really trying to keep the food intake quite small and very nutritious, and something that isn't so hard for our beautiful bodies to digest at night time. So we're trying to keep away from really spicy foods. We're trying to keep away from too much red wine, especially if this affects you and you get some form of heartburn when you lie down. So if you're in pain with heartburn when you lie down at night time, you're not going to get a good night's sleep. So just take a step back and think to yourself, oh, okay, so when I lie down at night time, I get heartburn, I get a little bit of indigestion. What did I eat? And keep that to, I'm not saying don't eat it because you obviously love it, but perhaps keep it to a lunchtime meal. Perhaps keep it to an earlier meal during the day. And then your body is upright. It has the capacity to process that, to digest that before you lie down, and the stomach acid doesn't come up and give you that horrible feeling at night time. Okay, so there's lots of environmental and lots of lifestyle issues that can come into having a good night's sleep. So that's one thing. So another thing is to make sure that you don't have any screens in your bedroom. You don't have any disruptions in your bedroom. There's actually so many reasons for this, and we may not have a time to get into all of it. But the screens that we have these days, the iPad screens, the phone screens, have lights in them that can interrupt with our brains functioning to say, it's nighttime, shut down. And also screens in your bedroom, like a TV screen, that kind of thing. The little red button is always on, unless you turn it off at the wall. It's always on. If you've got a alarm clock next to your bed that has the bright light, that's always on. And what our bodies need is a chance to click off. Our bodies need that knowledge. Our eyes, our brain needs that knowledge to say, it's not daytime anymore, it's nighttime, and it is my time to sleep. There's lots of other reasons, like I said. There's lots of different energetic waves, like microwaves, I guess, that can come out of devices that our bodies don't actually need at that time of night. Our bodies need to be clear of any energetic movements that are coming from all of these different devices. We need to clear that out. So I do say keep, and I don't say, research says, try to keep as many devices out of your bedroom as possible. And it's also really good to keep them out, because then you're not tempted to check the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning when you wake up for an email that you've been thinking about, and then your mind starts going over and over and over again as well, and you're still not getting that downtime. And also, if you have a TV in your bed, you're probably lying in bed watching it. And then the brain sort of says, oh, this bed isn't actually for sleeping or sex. This is for other entertainment as well. And so you might want to think, okay, well, I just need to keep that space sacred. My bed is sacred for my sleep or for my passionate times, whatever you choose. And to say that is the spot that happens, because our bodies do really love that type of routine. Okay, so that's taking things out of the bedroom. I also say take things into the bedroom. So perhaps some nice plants in the bedroom, just so it releases a lot more oxygen into the air. It cleanses the air a lot more. You might want to really think about bringing in a very comfortable pillow. Have a play with the different pillows. Have a play with the different mattresses in the bed shops, and really spend a lot of time in there. Spend a lot of time in there thinking about what you want to bring into your bedroom. So we're not only taking things out of the bedroom, screens, devices, work, desks, anything that's going to put you off just sleeping in your bedroom. Take it all out of the bedroom, because we want our bodies to know that the bedroom is for sleeping. And then bring in things that are comforting to you. Okay, there are so many things these days. I do a lot of research, and I've found recently there's a lot of things that you can bring into your bedroom. There's white light noise. There's things like you can download 7 or 8 hours of meditation music, and it made me think, but that means I'm going to have a device in my room. There's going to be a device on all the time in my room, and then my body's going to get used to having that music on all the time, and then my body's going to need that music all the time. And then if I go somewhere else and I don't have that music on, my body might not get the sleep that it needs. So what I teach is techniques for you to be able to use yourself anywhere, anytime, so that you can go away on holidays and still have a good night's sleep. You can go on a plane and hopefully get some sleep. You can be anywhere at night time and get that quality sleep that you need. Okay, all right, so we've covered lots of different lifestyle factors. We've got the food, we've got take things out of your bedroom, we've got take things into your bedroom. Now, I just thought about something then, I can't remember what it was. And so what I also want you to think about is when you go to sleep and when you wake up, it really should be the same time, around the same time every single morning and every single night. Okay, some techniques to relax yourself before you go to bed. I love doing restorative yoga, and it's really the only yoga that I teach now because there is so many benefits of it. Restorative yoga before you go to bed to get all the kinks out of your body that you may have developed during the day, so that you're not sleeping with those kinks in you. Because if you go to bed with sore, tight muscles, you're going to not sleep well because your body's going to be all tight and sore. Then the next day, you're still going to be tight and sore. And then you're going to build onto it and build onto it and build onto it. And it's just so much easier to get rid of it at the end of every day. So just a few very gentle stretches, stretches that you know are going to work, and I can give you some as well. Now, with stretching and releasing that way isn't your thing, if you're physically uncomfortable or you physically can't do that, there's a lot of other ways of relaxing. So I really love reading before I go to bed. Some people like knitting. It really calms them down. Some people like getting into card making or something that really calms you down. Not watching the news at night time, because that will stimulate your brain. Perhaps not sitting there and watching, really watching anything on TV. You really want to take those screens out of your life an hour before you go to sleep every single night, because you need to take that stimulus away from your eyes. So finding something that is very relaxing for you for an hour before you go to bed. So I'm not sure if you've got children, but when we have our children, and when you're a child, we love having that routine when we go to bed. You know, we have dinner, you have a bath, a nice relaxing bath. When my kids were little, I used to give them a massage after the bath every night, a bedtime story, and a cuddle, and good night. So we have these beautiful routines for our kids and when we were kids, and for some reason we just lose that knowledge. So we can get in again. They have a good night's sleep. Why don't we do that for us and have a good night's sleep ourselves? So, how about having a lovely bath before bed? How about reading yourself a nice good night story before bed? How about putting some nice relaxing music on? And then maybe knitting, doing some, like I said, doing some restorative yoga, doing some meditation, doing some breathing techniques, anything that calms you. And I'm very passionate about you finding something that calms you, because what calms other people won't calm someone else. So just finding what really, really suits you. Okay, so finding that nice routine at night time. We've had dinner that's not too full on. We've taken off the screens an hour before. We've set up that beautiful routine for us to get a good night's sleep. And then it's actually, and we've got a bedtime, a set bedtime, just as we did when we were kids. And then we're really setting ourselves up really, really well for that beautiful, decent night's sleep. Okay, so I'm just going to go through. I do say that we do need to get that 30 minutes of exercise during the day, but we all know that. I don't need to push that on you. But when we're talking about sleep, I do suggest having the 30 minutes of exercise if it's a full-on exercise, or even if it's a really hard stroll. Try to do it before lunch, so that your body can already after lunch start calming down. So if you're going to do some exercise after dinner or in the evening or even after 2 o'clock, just try to make it not a really intense workout. Try to keep those for the mornings. And also, when I'm thinking about keeping things for the mornings, try to keep your coffee intake before 2 o'clock. If you're a person that likes a lot of caffeine, tea, black tea, even green tea has a little bit of caffeine in it. So just try to keep that before 2 o'clock. Try to limit any form of caffeine. Oh, and I guess if you're a Coke drinker or a Pepsi drinker or anything. I don't ever suggest that you have those energy drinks, but if you do, I'm not going to judge you, but please keep them before 2 o'clock, because the caffeine will really affect your sleep. Okay, and that's why we're here, to get you a decent night's sleep. Okay, if you have that downtime and you feel like you really need a coffee, sort of 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or if you're reaching for the chocolate because you feel like you need that high because you feel your energy dropping, or even if that's a time that you have a nap, because that is really going to affect your sleep at night time. We try not to nap during the day. I've got quite a few different techniques for you to try, but the best technique is the legs up the wall technique. So there's a blog about it on my website, victoriasplaceonline.com.au, and it's popping your legs up the wall, lying on your back on the wall. Lying on your back on the floor, popping your legs up on the wall. And if you're pregnant or if you have tight hamstrings, just resting your legs on a chair, that will create a really, that will create a, I'm trying not to sound too scientific, but it will create a connection between the parasympathetic nervous system to say it's time to relax, and it will give you a really, really, really awesome downtime so you don't need a nap. Okay, so 5 minutes in that is actually equivalent to 20 minutes of a deep sleep. And that won't affect your sleep later on at night time. Okay, so I can give you a little bit more information about that later. So we've just covered a little bit there, haven't we? So keeping your coffee before 2 o'clock, or keeping your caffeine before 2 o'clock, and trying not to nap during the day. All right, what else have we got here? So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just going through the 3 weeks of the notes that I send you on the sleep course. And at the moment, that sleep course, oh, I've just noticed a spelling mistake. Oh, I'm so bad at that. I'll fix that before I send it. So that sleep course, it's only $25 at the moment, because I really want you to get a good night's sleep. And it's emails, so you can read it if you want to, but I've also videoed it, so you can just listen to it if you want to, because I know that people learn in different ways. I was a school teacher. Okay, so I think I've covered just about all of the lifestyle techniques that I wanted to talk to you about today. And if you've got any, I'm just going through all of this stuff just to make sure that I haven't missed too much for you. So if there's any other lifestyle techniques, you might like to put in a little question down there. So one of the nighttime techniques that I'd like to teach you now is called square breathing. Now, this is one of the most powerful techniques that I teach in lots of my mindfulness and my meditations, because it's so easy. And sometimes because it's so easy, we think it doesn't work, but I like to keep things very, very easy for you, because you can take it anywhere and you can remember it at any time. It's not complicated. It's not something that you need to write down. You can just remember it. And so when we're waking up at that 3 o'clock in the morning, when we've got that racing monkey mind, which is quite common, this is something that we don't need to read anything about and to wake ourselves up even more. We can just stay in our bed and we can just think, right, square breathing, okay? I have had a lady come to me saying that she did this square breathing, and after 26 years of being on sleep tablets and doing a little bit more with me with restorative yoga and changing parts of her lifestyle, she came off her sleeping tablets, which was just incredible. So I was really, really stoked with that. I teach a program for post-surgery breast cancer, and these beautiful ladies do have a lot of anxiety, especially when they're coming up to their next mammograms and they're seeing if any of the cancer has come back. And you can imagine that they spend a lot of time at night time worrying about what is going to happen. So I teach them this square breathing technique, and I have had quite a few people coming back to me saying, I can hear you in my head at night time, and it gets quicker and quicker and quicker, and now I can get back to sleep very, very quickly. So I'm incredibly grateful that I can give them and you these techniques and help you get a good night's sleep. Okay, so I'm just going to explain the square breathing technique. This can be done as you go to sleep at night time, or it can be done when you wake up at night time, because we don't want to start thinking about things when we wake up at night time and start worrying and start having any sort of anxious thoughts, because that will keep us awake a lot longer. We can keep those thoughts till later. And I've actually got, in the sleep program, actually, I've got a beautiful meditation for you to get rid of those anxious thoughts at another time. So the square breathing technique, it is with our eyes closed, which is great because that's what we want to do when we're asleep. And all we do is picture a square in front of us. So we picture a square in front of us. It doesn't matter what color. It doesn't matter if it's big or small. It doesn't matter if it's a diamond. It doesn't matter, you know, whatever you see straight away. We try not to analyze it too much because I don't want you to think about it too much. And then we just bring our inner gaze, because we've got our eyes closed, we bring our inner gaze to the bottom left corner and we breathe in. And I'll do this for you a lot slowly. I'm just explaining it to you now. We bring our inner gaze to the left corner. As we breathe in, we slide our inner gaze up the left corner. As we breathe out, we bring our inner gaze across the top to the right corner. As we breathe in, we bring our gaze all the way down to the left, to the bottom right corner. And then as we breathe out, we bring our gaze all the way to the, back to where we start. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and then we just continue going around. And then I'm going to expand it for you a little bit. Okay, so what I can do is I can email this to you, but what I'd really like you to do is practice it yourself, so you don't have to have a device in your bedroom, and you can just remember it yourself. Okay, so if you'd like to close your eyes. And we always, when we start doing this, we have a few deep breaths. So it just calms the mind, it calms the body. Breathing's so important. So taking a few deep breaths in through the nose. If you're really stressed, out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth if you need to. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. And now just breathing normally, just relax your body. In the sleep program, I give you lots of different ways to relax your body. But for now, just making sure you're comfortable on either side of your body. And bringing your gaze, your inner gaze, to your square, the bottom left corner of your square. As you breathe in, just allow the inner gaze to travel up the side of the square, taking the whole breath to get there. And as you breathe out, slide your inner gaze along the top of the square to the top right corner. As you breathe in, bring your inner gaze down the side of the square all the way to the bottom corner. And as you breathe out, slide your inner gaze back along the bottom of the square, back to where we started. One more round, coming up the side of the square. Breathing out, coming along the top of the square, take the whole breath to get to the end. As you breathe in, slide your inner gaze down the side of the square. And as you breathe out, slide your inner gaze along the bottom of the square all the way to the end. And gently open your eyes if they're not open already. Okay, so you should actually feel quite a lot more relaxed already. What I do suggest when you are when you're having trouble sleeping is to just continue going around and around. Okay, if you find that your mind is still wandering away, you can make that a little bit harder for yourself. And so you have a small square to start with, the length of your breath. And then you do probably about 7 rounds of your square. And then you let it go and you just listen to your body again and like I said, I can give you a version of this, of me saying this. But then you let it go again, and then you make a square in your mind's eye again, but this time you make your square a little bit bigger, so that when you are breathing on the left side, you're breathing up the left side of your square, your breath has to be longer. And as you're breathing along the top of the square, your breath has to be longer again, because you've made, from your little square, you've made it bigger. Okay, so this will give your body a lot more oxygen, and it will make your mind focus on the breathing a lot more, and then your thoughts won't race away so much. It also calms the heart rate a lot more. It calms the blood pressure level a lot more. And it's just an amazing thing you could do for your body, because you are giving the cells in your body a lot more oxygen. And our bodies needs that oxygen, especially at nighttime. It needs that oxygen because our bodies replenish and restore our bodies during that nighttime sleep. So we could start off with that small square, and then if you're still awake after doing about 7 rounds of that small square and you're finding your mind is really racing and it's going off places, you can actually just calm yourself again. Just go through a body scan, and I can show you how to do a body scan. Calm all the different parts of your body, and then imagine your little square again, but imagine it expanding. And so then you start doing the rounds of your square breathing with a bigger square. And we can continue on with this actually if your mind still is racing after that. But usually with that bigger square it works. Okay. So yeah, like I said, there's a few extra bits and pieces, but if you haven't done the square breathing before, I don't want to extend you too far just yet. If you do need me to extend it for you, I'd just like you to contact me privately about it, so I can go through it with you. We can just Skype it together. We can just have a nice chat. Okay. My email is victoriasplaceonline.com.au. So if you did want to have a little chat about any of this information that I've given you, or any comments that you've got, or I'd really love to hear if any of these techniques work for you and how it has improved your life. Because I know that when I started getting a decent amount of sleep, so many areas improved in my life. I can't tell you how fantastic my life has become since I have been able to get a decent night's sleep. Can I tell you a little bit? When I was doing research about sleep and how much it affects us, it's a little bit scary. I found out. Do you remember that meltdown, that nuclear meltdown in Chernobyl in 1986? It was caused by someone falling asleep. That I just find that terrifying. That just lack of sleep can cause so much damage. So not only does it age you, lack of sleep, not only does it take away your memory, not only does it give you a foggy brain and you can't make clear decisions, not only is it incredibly dangerous when you're driving, not only does it make you depressed, makes you grumpy, makes you snappy, so many of these things, but it can be really, really dangerous for yourself, your family, and for the whole world around us, everyone around us. So important. Sleep is so important. Every part of our day can affect our sleep. So I hope through the knowledge that has been given to me through my yoga training, through my meditation training and mindfulness training, that I have been able to help you in some way. Again, I'd love to get in contact with you so I could find out how things are going for you. Again, my email is victoria@victoriasplaceonline.com.au. And my Facebook is Victoria's Place Online. I put a lot of inspiration, a lot of things on Facebook for you to try and help you improve different parts of your life. So thank you so much for spending today with me. Really appreciative of it. Hopefully I didn't make you go to sleep. And yeah, I'll speak to you at another time. Thanks. Oh, can I stop? Yes, I can. Bye.